Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on monthly policy review, also known as MPR, which is being released by the PRS Legislative Research Think Tank. This is the MPR for the month of February. Whatever news that were reported for the entire month, we'll understand that in detail because this is something which is again important at the both stages of examination, either it is prelims or the mains part. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I start, just to give you a brief about the PRS Legislative Research, an independent research initiative which was founded in 2005. It aims to strengthen the legislative process in our country. It assesses the member of parliament and member of legislative assembly. This is based in New Delhi. For more details, you can refer to the PRS Legislative Research and their websites. Now, if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Service on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. So starting with the first news, that is Standing Committee Summit reports on the police reform. We'll see the detail what the Standing Committee report has to say in the police reform. So recently, the Standing Committee on Home Affairs have presented a report. The report is titled as Police Training, Modernizations and Reform. This report would again be important for General Studies Paper 2 and General Studies Paper 3. So make sure if you're writing in mains paper, you should incorporate all this important point. So इससे पहले भी चार important या तीन important ऐसे commissions हैं जिन्होंने पुलिस रिफॉर्म पे बात की हुई है. So that include National Police Commission, which was established way back in 1977. Then we have Committee on Reform of Criminal Justice System, which was there in 2000. Then our newest committee was Review Committee 2004. And now the final Standing Committee recommendations that have tabled their report, and we expect that this report is something which is going to help government and even call for the modernizations of police. Now some key observations and recommendations that was given by the Standing Committee. Police training is among them. The first is the committee recommended कि जो current training programs हैं उसमें change करने की ज़रूरत है. What are the changes that they suggested? The first is program on artificial intelligence. We have seen the technology is upgrading. So in light of that, the incorporation of artificial intelligence, robotics, drone technology, forensic and ballistic science is something that should be incorporated as a part and training of the police reforms. Now, informations about procedures of arrest and right of detainee. This is again something relevant. Periodic updates on law amendment, whatever law, what is what coming from any judgments or any reference that is coming, that should be periodically updated on the police part and the training part. Training module on local customs and tribal and other vulnerable group. This is essentially group because some ethnic group is more vulnerable on that part. तो उसके लिए भी training essentially required होगी. Cyber training labs strengthening the existing cyber training infrastructure that will call for more robust police training in our country. Now linkages with universities की बात की गई है. Committee ने Standing Committee ने कहा that there is a need to develop the soft skill. Which kind of soft skill? Which can bring a behavioral change in the police personnel. Essentially required because behavior change for policing is something that is required because police in general is not seen as a friendly to citizen, right? They find not reporting any cases or not going to police station. So यहाँ पे behavioral change की बात की गई है ताकि जो participation है citizens की वो भी increase की जा सके. And the Ministry of Home Affairs has also recommended that it may advise to link the cluster of police station with a particular universities also. Now, technology use, which is inevitable at this point of time, at this juncture, where entire world is upgrading its part. तो committee ने recommend किया है Ministry of Home Affairs को कि technological collaborations की ज़रूरत है, both for the state as well as for the union territories, where unmanned aircraft vehicle is required, like UAV. This essentially is required for the VVIP securities, surveillance of crime hotspots, crowd control and right management, and disaster management. So essentially the technology upgradations can be used in 4 important areas. Now the Standing Committee has also recommended Ministry of Home Affairs कि advise करे states को और union territories को ताकि वो integrate कर पाएं criminal crime and tracking network system. This is also known as CCTNS, that is crime and criminal networking system. उसकी जो datas हैं that should be the part of court, prison and forensic to reduce duplication of work and error. Because अगर ये integrated नहीं होगी तो dual work होगी, double workforce लगेगी, which can essentially be reduced with the help of technology. Now the other news, that is standing committee report on evaluation of मनरेगा. So recently यहाँ पे भी standing committee है जो rural development की तरफ से, rural development and पंचायती राज, they have presented a report which is critical evaluations of Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Guarantee Employment Act. मनरेगा was actually started way back in September 2005 and it aims for 100-day wage employment to the people who are vulnerable, who are not getting job in the area, right? The rural household जो adult members हैं, voluntary जो unskilled work है उसमें contribute कर सकते हैं and mandatorily the government has to provide 100-day work. So this is what the basic provisions of मनरेगा is. Now some observations and recommendation that was given by the committee itself. First was to increase the number of days for work. यहाँ पे कहा गया कि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास पावर है कि वो किसी स्पेशल सर्कमस्टांसेस में, किसी नेचुरल क्लैमिटीज या किसी इमरजेंसी के टाइम पे 100 डेज से वर्स को कम करके 50 डेज भी कर सकती है, बट देयर शुड बी अ वैलिड रीजन फॉर दिस, राइट? एंड द कमिटी हैज ऑल्सो नोटेड दैट द रिवैम्प मीटिंग challenging the wake of the COVID-19, right? Because many states are also witnessing a financial crunch and even for this budget, जो बजट एलोकेशंस की गई है मनरेगा में वो भी गवर्नमेंट ने काफ़ी रिड्यूस किया हुआ है, राइट? बट एट द सेम टाइम द कमिटी हैज़ ऑल्सो रिकमेंडेड अगर नॉर्मल सिचुएशंस हों तो 100 डेज से ये टाइम को बढ़ा करके 150 डेज करने की ज़रूरत है, राइट? सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट रिकमेंडेशंस दैट वाज गिवन बाय द कमिटी. नाउ यूनिफॉर्म वेज रेट की बात की गई. What is uniform wage rate? So this means that a rate which is essentially required जो कि यूनिफॉर्म हो पैन इंडिया, ऐसा नहीं है डिस्पैरिटी हो. तो रेंज जो एवरेज करती है दैट इज फ्रॉम 193 टू 318 इन डिफरेंट स्टेट एंड यूनियन टेरिटरी. तो कमिटी ने इसको नोट किया दैट फ्लक्चुएशन इन द वेज रेट अक्रॉस द स्टेट एंड यूनियन टेरिटरी इज नॉट जस्टिफाइड बिकॉज एट द सेम टाइम लेबर जो है वो अपनी उतनी ही एनर्जी की यूटिलाइजेशन कर रहा है, देन व्हाई दे शुड बी पेइंग डिफरेंट अमाउंट, राइट? So it recommended diversifying mechanism for a unified rate across the country. एक यूनिफॉर्म रेट हो जो सारे जगह फ्रॉम नॉर्थ टू साउथ, ईस्ट टू वेस्ट शुड बी अ यूनिफॉर्म रेट. नाउ अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ ओबर्ट्स पर्सन, जो ग्रीवांसेस होंगी किसी भी इंडिविजुअल की हर एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, उसके ग्रीवांसेस को समझना, उसकी इंक्वायरी कंडक्ट करना और उसके लिए अवार्ड देना. पास अवार्ड मीन्स टू पास अ जजमेंट शुड बी द पार्ट ऑफ एन ओबर्ट्समैन पर्सन who would be basically interested to provide all the resolution in this particular regard. Committee ने ये भी note किया that out of 715 possible appointments so far, 263 appointments have only been appointed in our country, which is again a cause of concern because this shows the poor coordinations between the central and state nodal offices. Now it observed the punitive measures can be imposed for fund that can be stopped the state for appointing the ombudsman as well. And last but not the least, committee ने recommend किया that Department of Rural Development to bring all state government on board to comply with the appointment of the ombudsman. So this is essentially required because ऐसे time पे where we have seen the complaint coming from the wage workers that they have not got the payment, they're not getting the work. In this context, the grievances, conduct of inquiry and passing of judgment is essentially strengthening the overall part of the process. Now, scheme for welfare of transgender and beggars. This is again something very important. Government ने इसका basically acronym रखा है SMILE. This SMILE stand for Support for Marginalized Individual for the Livelihood and Enterprises. Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment have launched a center sector scheme, SMILE जिसका नाम रखा गया. This again stand for Support for Marginalized Individual and Livelihood Enterprises. ये provide करेगी welfare, social security and rehabilitations to two group. One is transgender and the other group is beggars. So ये दो specific community को ध्यान में रख करके SMILE scheme लाई गई है. So if it is being asked in any other competitive examination or UPSC, ये किस particular group को target कर दी है SMILE program, that is for transgender person and other is beggars. The ministry has allocated 365 crore rupees for scheme which would run for 2022 till 2026. टू सेक्टर स्कीम्स हैं इसके अंदर और दो ग्रुप में ये फोकस करेगी. सो द स्कीम इंक्लूड टू सेक्टर स्कीम and has a sub scheme also. So sub scheme has a target towards a comprehensive rehabilitations of which particular group. The first is transgender person. यहाँ पे जो sub scheme होगी वो include करेगी component for a scholarship transgender students के लिए, उनके skilling, उनके livelihood options, shelter options with food, clothing and medicine facilities, and established a transgender protection cell in each states. Now these cell monitor offenses जहाँ पे ये इंश्योर की जाएगी that they seek timely registration, investigations and prosecutions of the cases that is registered by a transgender person. Now person engaged in begging, उन लोगों की भी स्पेशल फोकस रखी गवर्नमेंट ने स्माइल स्कीम के थ्रू. So this sub scheme has focus area which include survey and identification of the beneficiaries, mobilizations, shelter home providing educations to children and resettlement of the beneficiaries. Right? We have seen the problem of begging is enlarging in India. So the government wanted to give it a shape and reduce it as much as it can. Now, Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. This is how it's looked like. I've taken this image from Indian Express group. Now, what is Ayushman Bharat? The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has approved the rollout of Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. The National Health Authority is implementing the agency for the Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission. This is something relevant point for your exam. Now, this was launched by the central government in September 2021 और total budget allocate की गई है उसके लिए 1600 crore rupees towards the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, and this is for 5 years. Well, if duration is asked in examination, you have to write that this is for 5 years. Now, as per the mission, जो citizen है, they would be able to create their Ayushman Bharat account number, which will be linked to the digital health record. If most of you have visited for vaccinations, वहाँ पे आपको जो message आई है, that is a kind of a digital health record that government has already registered on the behalf of that vaccination part, right? तो इस तरह के digital health records create किए जा रहे हैं. And further, this mission will enable the interoperability with the digital health ecosystem in our country. ये इसका ये मतलब है डिजिटल हेल्थ सर्विसेज प्रोवाइडर्स हैं विल बी एबल टू ऑफर द डाइवर्स सर्विसेज टू अ सिंगल प्लेटफॉर्म इन आवर कंट्री, राइट? सो दिस इज how the government is looking forward with implementation part of the digital health record under the Ayushman Bharat health account. Now, draft India Data Accessibility and Use Policy 2022. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, they have recently released the draft India Data Accessibility Use Policy 2022. ये पॉलिसी एक ऐसी पॉलिसी है जो एम करती है टू इनहांस एक्सेस, quality and use of non-personal data by the government and enable sharing of the government within a private sectors. किसी भी तरह की जो non-personal data हैं, बेसिकली जो पर्सनल डेटा उनकी यूज़ नहीं करनी है, नॉन पर्सनल डेटा गवर्नमेंट अपने लिमिटेशंस के हिसाब से वेलफेयर प्रोग्राम्स में ही स्पेसिफिकली यूज़ कर पाएंगे. नॉन पर्सनल डेटा का मतलब क्या होता है? नॉन पर्सनल डेटा द डेटा विच आर अदर देन द पर्सनल डेटा. और पर्सनल डेटा किसे कहते हैं? पर्सनल डेटा मीन्स which pertains a character, trait, attributes, identity of any individual, right? So किसी individual की जो personal information है, private information है, that is counted as a personal data, right? Now the policy will call for the non-personal data creations, collections archived by the central government या फिर जो government की कोई agencies हो, कोई ऐसी autonomous body है जिसको central government ने establish की है, वो non-personal data का use कर सकते हैं government programs and policies and for evaluations part. Now, state government may voluntarily adopt this provision under this policy. तो state के पास भी ये powers दी गई हैं that state government अगर चाहे तो voluntarily वो भी ये policy को adopt कर सकते हैं. Now, कुछ key features अगर बात करें इस policy के, the principle of data sharing something very important in this. So the policy identified key principle of the data sharing and the governance, which is include interoperability, integrated and technology agnostic approach, right? इसमें क्या क्या चीजें हैं? First is यूजर सेंट्रिक प्रैक्टिसेस एंड सिस्टम. उसके अलावा प्राइवेसी सिक्योरिटी बाय डिजाइन, इसकी इंप्लीमेंटेशन की भी ध्यान दी जाएगी. इक्वल एंड नॉन डिस्क्रिमिनेटिंग एक्सेस, समथिंग विच इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू गेट अ डेटा वुड बी नॉन डिस्क्रिमिनेटिंग एक्सेस की भी बात की गई है. प्रोएक्टिव डेटा शेयरिंग एंड इनोवेशन एंड रिसर्च एंड प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी सिस्टम, इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी, राइट? सो दिस इज हाउ द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ डेटा शेयरिंग वुड बी गाइडेड अंडर दिस प्रोविजंस. Now, institutional framework बनाने की बात की गई है. इंडिया डेटा ऑफिस बनाई जाएगी which would be set up by the ministry to streamline the data access sharing across the government and other stakeholders. और ये ऐसे डिपार्टमेंट होगी जो कि पूरी डेटा को मैनेज करेगी. दिस विल बी हेडेड बाय द डेटा चीफ ऑफिसर्स. तो एक इंडिया डेटा काउंसिल बनाने की भी बात कही गई है विद इंडियन डेटा ऑफिसर्स एंड डेटा ऑफिसर्स ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट फॉर द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट फॉर द इंटर गवर्नमेंट कोऑर्डिनेशंस, राइट? तो एसेंशियली एक पूरी हायरार्की क्रिएट करने की कोशिश की गई है जहाँ पे सेंटर के पास पूरी कंप्लीट अथॉरिटी हो और स्टेट भी उसमें रेगुलेट कर सके. Now mechanism for data sharing, how this would actually work. तो हर एक गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट के पास, एजेंसीज के पास नॉन पर्सनल डेटा होती हैं विच कैन बी क्लासिफाइड एज ओपन, रिस्ट्रिक्टेड एंड नॉन पर्सनलेबल, राइट, नॉन शेयरेबल. Now, Indian Data Office will notify the protocol for sharing the identity, non-personal जो data होगी with other stakeholders. Now, most database would be available to free prompt innovations, research and development. Now, draft amendment to health insurance and regulation, something essentially important in terms of the health regulation in our country. Now, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority की बात करें, they have released a draft amendment जो कि IRDI Health Insurance Regulation 2016 के नाम से जानी जा रही है. This regulation contains the provision regarding the registration and scope of health insurance business in India. So this is more kind of regulating the health insurance pan India. क्या क्या की अमेंडमेंट किए गए हैं गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से. सो फर्स्ट इज विद रिगार्ड्स टू लॉन्ग टर्म प्रोडक्ट. यहाँ पे स्पेसिफिक रेगुलेशंस लाई जाएगी फॉर द लाइफ इंश्योरेंस. और लॉन्ग टर्म का मतलब है 5 ईयर्स की, राइट. दिस इज फॉर 5 ईयर फॉर इंडिविजुअल हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, राइट. और ये जो प्रीमियम है फॉर सच प्रोडक्ट वुड रिमेन सेम फॉर एटलीस्ट 3 ईयर. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने जिस प्रीमियम पे स्टार्ट किया है वो हर साल मॉडिफाई होगी. 3 साल तक उसे कांस्टेंट रहना होगा, उसके बाद उसमें रिव्यू या मॉडिफिकेशन अलाउड है. Now, general insurance and health insurance can offer individual health care जहाँ पे minimum 10 और 1 होगी और maximum 3 हो सकती है. The amendment also allow insurers to offer the insurance product according to the guideline which is specified under the IRDA guidelines. Now, IRDA ने ये भी नोट किया है कि जो हार्ड कूलिंग पॉलिसी है, कोडिंग पॉलिसीज हैं in this regulation may also be need to address as per the market dynamics, because we have seen many competitors even for the COVID-19 the policy, health policy has changed a lot. तो जो important positions होंगी उस समय health authorities की या फिर government की जो policies हैं उसके accordingly ही, market dynamics के accordingly वो policy offer कर पाएंगे. Now, group health insurance policies की अगर बात करें, under this regulation no group healthcare insurance can be issued for the insurers and even it can be informed for the main purposes availing the insurance. और इस तरह की पॉलिसी के लिए जो एलिजिबिलिटी है फॉर सच ग्रुप शुड हैव एटलीस्ट 7 मेंबर अगर आप ग्रुप पॉलिसी लेना चाहते हैं तो. द ड्राफ्ट प्रपोजेस रिमूवल ऑफ दीज स्पेसिफिकेशंस दैट इंश्योर दैट वन कैन ऑफर हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्रोडक्ट टू द गाइडलाइन इश्यूज बाय द IRDA. So this is a regulatory body for insurance in India. We have a lot more regulatory body for security and other purposes. We have SEBI for basically all other stuff. We have there's alignment of the regulatory body in our country. So accordingly आपको ये देखना है कि किस तरह से चीजें इंडिया में रेगुलेट होगी. रिन्यूअल ऑफ पॉलिसीज की अगर बात करें, रिन्यूएबल प्रोवाइड वंस इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी इज इशूड विदाउट एनी ब्रेक, और रिन्यूअल उसके बाद अलाउड की जा सकती है. द प्रोविजन डज नॉट अप्लाई टू ट्रैवल इंश्योरेंस प्रोडक्ट, लाइक जहाँ पर वो एक्सीडेंट के प्रोडक्ट्स हों या फिर पायलट प्रोडक्ट्स हों, दैट कैन बी नॉट टेकन टू कंसिडरेशन. Now, the pilot products are the product जहाँ पे policy terms is for 1 to 5 years. So यहाँ पे जो duration है that is for 1 to 5 years. In general insurance or health insurance covering the risk which is covered as a other part also. और ये जो draft amendment आई है उसमें ये कोशिश की गई है that they should bring the personal accident product under the ambit of lifelong renewability in the interest of the policy holder. This is what IRDI has to say in this regard, right? Now, India and UAE signed the CEPA, that is CEPA. We'll see the detail and how this is going to impact the relationship between India and UAE. So recently, India and United Arab Emirates have signed a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. ये agreement है that will boost a merchandise trade to $100 billion over the next 5 years. So this value again important. You should note this. And the agreement is expected to generate around 10 lakhs jobs. दिस इज समथिंग एसेंशियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, जहाँ पे अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की बहुत बड़ी इश्यूज है इंडिया में. ये कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्टर्स को टारगेट करेगी लाइक फार्मास्यूटिकल्स, मेडिसिन डिवाइस, स्पोर्ट्स, टेक्सटाइल, एग्रीकल्चर एंड फूड प्रोडक्ट्स. नाउ एज पर द एग्रीमेंट बिटवीन द इंडिया एंड यूएई, जो इंडियन जो मेडिसिन हैं दैट विल बी getting an automatic registration and market authorization in case of the regulatory approvals in the developed countries. कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट कंट्रीज हैं, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका, यूरोपियन यूनियन एंड यूनाइटेड किंगडम. फर्दर ये एग्रीमेंट स्पेसिफाई करती है परमानेंट सेफगार्ड, ऐसे मैकेनिज्म को जो कि प्रिवेंट करे प्रोडक्ट्स फ्रॉम कंट्रीज थ्रू सीपा रूट and in case of sudden surge in the import as well. So these two countries would also be a part of FTA's free trade agreement और special incentives भी मिलेगी दोनों countries को अपनी ट्रेड के लिए. Now, e-rupee voucher, essentially important for the prelims examination specifically. Now, the Reserve Bank of India has increased the cap on the amount for e-rupee vouchers, that is 10,000 to 1 lakh rupees कर दी गई है per vouchers के लिए. Further, it has allowed the use of rupee multiple items until the amount of the voucher is completely redeemed. क्या है e-rupee voucher? E-rupee voucher is a payment-based system launched by the National Payment Corporation of India in August 2021, right? तो NPCI ने इसको लॉन्च किया है. ये आपके लिए काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. दिस कैन बी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर प्रीलिम्स एंड मेनी other competitive examination as well. And e-rupee functions as a prepaid digital vouchers with beneficiaries may access to their phone in form of messages or QR code. तो ये possibility phone से भी की जा सकती है इसके uses और QR code के थ्रू भी इसको utilize किया जा सकता है. Now, what is the basic infograph about e-rupee? So e-rupee is a cashless and contactless instrument for digital payment developed by the National Payment Corporation of India. Connect sponsor the services with beneficiaries जहाँ पे digital manner में without any physical interface the entire process can be completed. It assure timely payment without involvement of any intermediaries, and it can also be used for delivering services, which means to provide drug nutritional support under the mother child care schemes, TB eradication program, and many other programs which Government of India has overtaken. Right. So this is all about the e-rupee, and this was all about the analysis from the monthly policy review which is being released by the PRS. We have a lot more other initiatives for you like daily news and editorial analysis where I cover the news from 2 important newspapers. Apart from this, we have IAS GAZETTE magazine in our website. You can check IAS GAN website. FCA, which is released on 4th and 2nd and 4th Saturday. PIB compilation is there, monthly policy review, gist of YOJNA and Kurukshetra, and lot more other initiatives that will help you to sail through this journey of civil services. So do check it out, do check our playlist section, and do subscribe to the channel as well. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.